Well, things have gone from bad to worse. Bradley Beal is now out for the year. Oh my goodness. Welcome in to Clippers Talk.
Here we go, Clips fans.
Clippers talk with Adam Osland. After every game, download every pod. Clippers talks the name. He's a basketball talking golden god.
New episodes after every game on demand.
Follow Clippers Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Clippers.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Adam Osland. The news just broke seconds ago as we heard from Coach Lou on Monday that Beal could be out for a while. Well, a while now means he is out for the season. This comes from Shams Charania. I will share the tweet. Just in, Los Angeles Clippers guard Bradley Beal has a fracture in his hip and will undergo season-ending surgery, sources tell ESPN. Brutal. Unbelievable. Feel bad for Bradley Beal. Bad for the Clippers. This front office that looked like it had replaced Norman Powell with not just the trade for John Collins, but Bradley Beal for $5 million, which was looked at as a steal, and it was a Bradley Beal sweepstakes. Who was going to get him after Phoenix bought him out? Clippers got him, and now he's out for the season. Tough news, Clipper Nation. I was just here eating my Chipotle. Got a text. Saw the Shams Charania tweet. And this is devastating news. That the Clippers' prospects of what their highest ceiling could be this season. I know a lot of you guys were down on Bradley Beal with his start, but we all assumed eventually he would get it together. He would round into form. He would get off his minutes restriction. And he would look like the guy the last 2 years with Phoenix, who was an efficient scorer, shooting 50% from the field, 40% from the outside. I know things didn't go well, but there was a myriad of reasons for why things didn't go well in Phoenix. It was not on Bradley Beal. Where the Clippers go from here, as they have a game tonight against the Denver Nuggets, who knows? They could end up being 3-8 after tonight. They have a 7-game road trip coming up. Just makes everything tougher right now. No Kawhi Leonard tonight still, out with the right sprained ankle. Does this season quickly turn into a gap year, bridge year, a youth movement year? The stuff I don't want to see in here is this from Andrew. Beal is a bum. Blessings for all of us. Terrible. Automatic timeout. Disgusting. Bradley Beal was going to help this team this season. Bradley Beal, if you remember Coach Lou talking about him, was thought of as a starter and a big part of what the Clippers were trying to do. Now they have to go in a different direction. Cam Christie had already been playing a lot. I assume he's playing more. When Jordan Miller gets healthy, is he going to get a bigger opportunity? I don't know where else they turn. Malcolm Brogdon retired. Some people were looking at him as a free agent. Some are saying trade for Ja. I don't see that as very likely, but who knows? This was completely unexpected, and it could send the Clippers into a completely different direction. People want to play the blame game right now. Come on. Have a little bit of sympathy, empathy for a player that could have helped this team, that was going to help this team. I had no doubts based upon his production the last 2 years with the Phoenix Suns that the Clippers made the right move in bringing him in. Whether you want to call it Clippers luck, Clippers curse, whatever, it just feels like, yes, if it wasn't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. And for a team with high expectations after this summer, part of the reason being because they got Bradley Beal on the cheap, this is quite a blow to this Clippers top end ceiling. Can they still be good if they get healthy and get things together? Yes. They're in a 3-7 hole, though, they have to climb out of, first of all. And now they have to do so with at least Bradley Beal being out for the season. We don't know when Kawhi Leonard is going to be back. Hopefully for this road trip, I would assume. Some people are talking about blowing it up like the Sacramento Kings have been rumored to do, from my guy Carmichael Dave up in NorCal. Broke that news yesterday. Does it turn into a sell-off? Do the Clippers go in a different direction completely? I would assume they are going to try to get out of this because they're still talented enough with Zubac, with Kawhi, with James Harden, with John Collins, with DJ, with Dunn, with Batum. They still have a solid team, even in the Western Conference, but they got to get healthy and they got to start winning games right away. Maybe if all of a sudden you're 6-20 or something like that, then you consider just having a fire sale. But I'm not there yet. I'm looking for more information on this. I'll see if Law Murray wants to jump on. Send out a tweet here. But obviously, shocking news. Bradley Beal out for the season with a fractured hip. Really devastating for him, Clippers organization, and Clipper Nation. I know Bradley Beal desperately wanted to prove what happened in Phoenix was not, on him or a reflection of him as a player with them underperforming, and he wanted to help this team this year. So I'm gutted for Bradley Beal. And for anyone that thinks this team was better without him, or I understand if you want him to come off the bench and things like that. They needed Bradley Beal this season. He was going to help this team. So you got to pivot and find other ways to win games. Could this mean you lean into Ivica Zubac more? All right. 2012 Ivica Zubac season incoming, where he's getting 15 shots a night. Disagree with Beal doesn't fit the new NBA. He's an efficient scorer. Even with down years in Phoenix, still an efficient scorer out there. And the Clippers had enough defensively to be able to configure this lineup in a way that could be really dangerous if they had peaked. Their potential was very high. We all knew that coming into this season, which is why so many people are defeated and distraught by the fact that they're 3-7 right now. Maybe I should put out a tweet since this was just breaking news. Get that up at follow out of May. Really, really feel terrible for Bradley Beal right now and the Clippers organization with the vision they had for this roster and what we expected coming into this season. And even though they got to a slow start, still felt like you get this thing together, you get it right. With the talent they've amassed, you have a chance. Without Bradley Beal, they got to go a different way. I expect more from Cam Christie. I would assume at some point here, CP3 or Bogey gets back in to the rotation. This is really tough. Guys, this ain't the NFL. They don't rework contracts. I don't know why people think that happens to the NBA. Some are saying I never believed in curses, but man. Oh. I'll see if also Chuck or Will want to come on. The hits keep on coming. No, Bradley Beal was on a minutes restriction for other reasons. The thought was that maybe he hurt the hip in the first game against Phoenix in that home and home. So last Thursday, and then maybe played through it on Saturday. Didn't know the extent of it. Now people are coming up with unrealistic scenarios. I'm just so bummed for Brad and for the front office because I really felt like we all felt like this was such a good offseason. It was such a strong offseason. And that even with this slow start, and a lot of it was because Bradley Beal's on a minutes restriction, they really needed him. I mean, his last quarter with the Clippers this season now was his best quarter. On Saturday, that third quarter against Phoenix, they're down 18. They call a timeout. Bradley Beal hits back-to-back threes, has quick 8 points. They cut into the lead. He can't play in the fourth quarter because of the minutes restriction. And we were all like, man, this is the game where you really need Bradley Beal here. They lose that game. They've lost 5 in a row. But we all expected at some point Bradley Beal's going to get up to speed. Whether that was with the starting unit or some type of rotation and lineup with this team. Ray saying, give me CJ McCollum. I mean, that's not the worst call in the world because he's playing for the Wizards and they're not playing for much. And I'm sure at some point they're going to move him and Chris Middleton. But McCollum is making big money. Let me see what his exact contract is. I think he's making like 30 million, guys. How do you get there? Yeah, he's at 30.6 million this season. But he does fit in this way. He's an unrestricted free agent after this year. How do you get close to matching that? As we're all just workshopping this in real time and trying to figure out what the Clippers can do. I expect Bogey or CP3 to be used more right now, but Cam Christie's not going anywhere with the way he's played, and he had a role on this team even with Bradley Beal. So Killer Cam is going to be playing. That's good. That has been good. People are so critical of Coach Lou not playing young guys, and Cam Christie made his way into the rotation real quick here. Bogey didn't look bad in his last stint. I already felt like, even without this news, Bogey and CP3, you just can't go away from them for the entire season, 10 games in. So, yeah, I think Bogey gets the first opportunity. There are similarities in his game to Bradley Beal, which is why when Beal was first out early this season after the back injury, it's early this season because we're still only 10 games in. Bogey was in the starting lineup and people were wondering why, and it was like because he has similar traits as Bradley Beal, which is why he was playing in the preseason and starting with the rest of the starters when Bradley Beal still wasn't playing yet. So there is some level of a natural fit there with Bogey. I don't know if that means it has to be with the starters, but they need some of what he supplies. With this devastating news with Bradley Beal being out for the season. Bogey, huge opportunity. A lot of people wanted him traded before the season started. Like, what are we going to need him for? He's going to be out of the rotation. Well, funny how things work sometimes. Bogey's got to step up. CP3's got to step up. Cam continue to progress as a young player. That's the immediate. If they don't, now, if you're still having goals of being a top team in the West this season, you might have to make a move. I still don't get a lot of the Morant stuff. I mean, I do because he's likely available, but I just don't understand what people have seen with him on or off the court that would make him say that Ja is the solution. His rim frequency is down 20%. His contract goes through 2028. If you get Ja, there goes your money for spending this summer or the summer after that. I think it's unlikely the Clippers go that route. I think people like Ja are just real hooper types. Like, oh. I want to see what Bogey can do. Full green light. He's been needing to regain his confidence. The series against Denver didn't go his way, but the last 20 plus games of the regular season last year, Bogey shot 50% from three for the Clippers. He started off slow when they first brought him in, and then he got super hot from the outside. And then he had the series against Denver where it looked like his confidence was shot. He was losing the basketball in ways you just don't see from a professional player. He said he was banged up, took him a month to get right in the offseason. You're not buying low. Josh still has a contract that is very high. I don't understand how people don't understand, can't comprehend this. How are you buying low if he still has a contract that's really high and is going to keep you from going after other guys this next summer or the summer of 2027? Like, everything needs to be on the table at this point. All avenues need to be explored because this is such massive and unfortunate news. And the fact there's 3-7. But I don't think it needs to be a mad scramble or a sell off right away. I don't think you're going to be able to get Ja with giving up 0 picks or 0 good players. It's not, the value is not that low. he makes enough to where you have to start matching salaries. So you're giving up guys that make more too, which usually are some of your better players. I shouldn't even entertain the jaw thing until there's real reports that the Clippers are interested, because that would just be surprising to me. Reacting to this in real time, I fired this up less than 2 minutes after the news broke from Shams. So forgive me a little bit, and I will also be forgiving of the chat here and some of the things they. You want to give up Bogey, Zoo, and Batum? We're not giving up Zoo for Ja Morant. Zoo is on. I don't even know if it's arguably the best contract in the NBA. Jordan Miller has been hurt, Quentin. And Cam Christie has been in. You're not playing all your young guys. Now we may get to that point, but not yet. CP3 has more offensive rebounds than Brook Lopez. It's not a great stat, but also Brook is playing on the perimeter a lot. That's his value as a stretch five. I don't know what you guys thought you were getting into. This is all right. I'm just gonna mute, I guess, because his guesses suck. Trade Zoo, Bogey, and Batum for Ja, bring in Claxton and MPJ. All right. Claxton's not better than Zoo. I don't ignore every single bad Zubac's game. I just criticized him. Look at the post game show I did for the OKC game. You're just talking nonsense. You haven't watched the show. Y'all are gonna get me heated because I'm already upset with this unfortunate news with Bradley Beal unbelievably being out for the season. John Collins, expect him to be averaging 30 minutes a night from here on out. Expect more from Cam Christie. Expect something from Bogey or CP3, and I think Bogey is likely the guy. He was putting time out. 916 kid using an avatar of me in my car late at night doing a Clippers talk after dark. Beal makes $5 million. This talk of can Beal be traded? Like, for a team that just wants an expiring contract? Some major casual reaction in here. Yeah, I do believe guys will step up. I've seen this Clippers team rally before. We have known them to be at their best during the darkest times, with guys being out, with Kawhi being out over the years. The 21-22 season with only 30 games from Paul George and Kawhi out the entire year, and they still won 42 games. Players stepped up. This is a stay ready team. They always find a way to compete, and somehow Coach Lou never gets credit for that. Doing much more with less. We're all just reacting to this right now. But that is one thing I think you can rely upon with this Clippers team. They have stepped up during difficult times like this before. Thomas, you will not be missed. He said unsubscribing and not watching any games. The Kawhi era is over. Peace out. Kobe Sanders, we'll see how much of a youth movement there is. I don't know what we're in store for. If they continue to lose, then maybe it makes sense to have a sell off. But I don't think that's the initial reaction or the reflex from this Clippers team because of Bradley Beal being out for the year. I don't think that's the place they turn immediately. It's not a blessing in disguise. I'm not going there. I'm not. That is disrespectful to Bradley Beal. That's a timeout. Bradley Beal is going to help this team this season. What young player have the Clippers developed? They developed Coffee, they developed Man. They were good rotation players for them. They haven't had many high picks to develop guys that are the most sought after in the draft, guys that are most likely to be able to turn into something. You draft a guy at the end of the first round, they have like a 50-50 chance of being in the league in a couple of years. Yeah, OKC has their pick this season, and then a pick swap with them next season. And then it's the same thing with Philly the next 2 years after that. So they don't have an incentive to lose games to help Oklahoma City get a higher pick from the Clippers this year. But you also don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face. And at some point, if this looked like a lost season in terms of wins and losses, and you're not able to make the playoffs because they're behind the 8 ball, they're 3-7, they lose Bradley Beal, they're an older team that stays injured, and let's say they're 10-25 or something like that in the first 35 games, then yeah, you got to start thinking about yourself and not worrying about the OKC pick and maybe make some big moves to try to recoup some draft picks. Some are saying the first domino has fallen, Kawhi and everyone else will be traded. All we did was heap praise upon Lawrence Frank this past summer, rightfully so. And now people are saying fire Lawrence Frank again. Everybody said, I said it plenty. Lawrence Frank cooked. We love this roster coming in. Now people have given up after 10 games, and because Bradley Beal's out for the season now, I don't think that's Lawrence Frank's fault. Any team would have brought him in for $5 million, guys. Beal wasn't close to right yet. He was on a 20 minutes restriction. He was banged up. To grade Bradley Beal on how many games he ended up playing, 6 on a minutes restriction, does not mean that was the Bradley Beal that was going to be here the entire season. No, it wasn't just me praising Lawrence Frank for this offseason. Get the you know how many shows I've done? We all were loving the moves they made, given the restrictions on this team, with trying to make sure they have cap money available for 2026 and 2027. Plenty of national people loved it. And plenty of people in Clipper Nation were hyped for this season. Do not tell me otherwise. That's revisionist as hell. And so to see that Beal, when has Beal been good lately? He's been an efficient scorer the last 2 years for the Phoenix Suns. They had all kinds of problems. It is not just Beal. Zach Lowe did say trading for Anthony Davis, which I thought was interesting. As Nico Harrison's out. Anthony Davis is injured and out right now. I didn't like getting older for a team that is getting older. It's what better options did they have? They took the route that had the best options. Getting younger is cool. Getting better is better. We all thought they were getting better. Who were the young guys that were just hanging out there for the Clippers to get, that people were just giving away, that wouldn't have compromised their cap space in 2026 or 2027? That just wasn't going to happen. So they did the best they could with the variables and the parameters we were talking about. Unfortunately, Hasn't been a good start to the year, and now this compounds it 10 times, not having Bradley Beal. Yeah, it's like, guys, they're bringing in people so they make sure that they're responsible and have guys off the books for 26 and 27. Houston has no draft capital to trade James Harden to. I don't even know what Quentin's talking about. You're saying trading James Harden back to Houston? I mean, they are in need of a point guard. They got a devastating blow before the season started with Fred VanVleet. But Harden also makes, $40 million. You have to somewhat match salaries there. I'm hurting for Bradley Beal. It's Clippers organization and Clipper Nation, especially the ones who are being somewhat reasonable. What do I think about DeMar DeRozan? Sounded like they almost had him a couple of years ago, but he makes a lot of money still. He's on a short deal, but two guys that are mid-range masters and him and Kawhi Leonard overlapping and taking up space from one another, I don't think that's a great fit. Dennis Schroeder, I like Dennis Schroeder a lot. I've been on record saying I thought he should have won the sixth man, or was going to at least, over Montrezl Harrell. Of course, I was happy for Montrez, and I'm glad he won it that year, but I thought it was going to be Dennis Schroeder with OKC. I'm a fan. Things haven't worked out in Sacramento with him so far. Things typically have been rough there. I'm not giving up on the season yet or this Clippers team because of this news. It is crippling to some. Right now, a lot is dependent on when Kawhi is back. Can Bogey step up? Can Ivica Zubac be featured more? He needs to be. And he needs to do his part as well and step up. Can Jordan Miller get healthy and provide anything? Kobe Brown was decent the other night. He doesn't seem to be in their long-term plans, but he was solid against Atlanta. Max Christie is on the Dallas Mavericks. We have Cam Christie. Easy mistake to make. Yes, Cam Christie will get more of an opportunity. Yannick at some point could get minutes. Yannick's looked amazing going back to Summer League. I'm a huge fan. Look, Brook has to play better. They also need to play better around him. I think people are misinterpreting who Brook Lopez is as a defender. He's a really good drop big that if you funnel things his way, he's going to redirect and block shots like he did against Shaden Sharp in that game against Portland this year where he blocked the living shit out of him twice. He is still a good defender and rim protector, but he can't make up if everybody else is flawed on the perimeter with their point of attack defense and guys are scrambling and in rotation enough. Brook Lopez is not the guy for that job. And they've had far too many defensive miscues and bad rotation so far this season where everybody's out of position. I still think Brook Lopez is going to help this team. But everybody else got to do their job defensively. You can't put Brook Lopez in the spot where he has to guard his guy and the guy who just beat his man off the dribble on the perimeter. That's what's been happening. That's why he's looked underwhelming. Do I think it's Dunn or DJ as the fifth starter? Assuming Collins starts, either way, I'm fine with it, but it might be Dunn. I think Dunn next to James Harden has been the better pairing overall. You look at the turnover percentage being down when they're together in the backcourt. Dunn helps James Harden out more with bringing the ball into the front court. Even if they have Kawhi, you still would like three ball handlers out there. Dunn is better in that area. So, yes, I would say Like I said this summer, the ideal starting lineup would be Harden, Dunn, Kawhi, Collins, Zubac. I think we're getting there soon when Kawhi is back. Sure, it's like now we don't have to force start Beal. Okay, great. They still were going to need Bradley Beal, guys. This is a really, really difficult blow to this team. I don't think there's any upside or silver lining positives. Maybe we'll say somebody took advantage of the opportunity eventually, and that does happen. But I hate the way people have judged Beal so quickly in like 6 games this season on a minutes restriction and playing through injury and acting like, oh, that's all the Clippers were going to get out of Beal this season. You never got the full version of him, even close. Here's the deal. Without the additional offensive threats, if you have John Collins out there and Ivica Zubac in the starting lineup, of course, you have offensive threats. You have 4 guys that can score the ball. So yes, you can have Dunn out there. That will work nicely. Who also has been better on offense so far this season. This is no disrespect to DJ though. DJ's been awesome. And I don't think he deserves to be out of the starting lineup. I just think Dunn is the better pairing with James Harden and also brings some intangibles with how hard he plays and the spirit he plays with out there and kind of raises everybody else's level of play and helps them get off to better starts because Chris Dunn is such a maniac defensively with his activity level. Shocking, shocking news. Bradley Beal out for the season. Let's hope that this Clippers season doesn't go in a downward spiral from here and they can rally. We've seen them rally before around injuries, guys being out. It has happened. It has had to happen plenty of times, and they have done it. Arguably, you can say this is when this team has been at their best. They got to the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi. I know, different guys, different configuration, but Coach Lou's still there. Some of these guys still there. The season after that, no Kawhi. Paul George, 30 games. They win 42. This has got to be the rallying cry. If there was, and there has been an issue with sense of urgency, if you don't got a sense of urgency now, you don't got a pulse because you're put in this tough spot. You have to know you need to be better. And they haven't been nearly good enough. So if anything's going to get this team's attention with attention to detail and full focus, a laser focus to the rest of the season, this has got to be it. You got to do it without Bradley Beal, who I anticipated getting up to speed eventually and really helping this team. Yeah, young guys are going to get more opportunities. They already were. I'm not calling it a throwaway season. Hey, if they start 10-30, yes. We're not there yet. I don't think this team has given up on this season. So they ain't giving up. I'm not giving up. I don't know what you'd have to give up to get Quentin Grimes. Obviously, that's a really nice player. Who let him go? Oh, Nico Harrison did that too. Anthony Robinson says, I'm keeping receipts because I think they're going to turn it around. This team still has the horses on paper. They haven't played to their potential, close to it. They still have enough. They still have most of the guys that won them 50 games last season. What are we talking about? Kawhi didn't start off last season. That's not anything different for this team. And I assume he's going to be back within the next week, at least. Anthony Davis to the Clippers, like, for what? What are you giving up? His health concerns are always there. Let me look at Anthony Davis's contract because it really is probably the biggest factor with this front office. They are not looking to have money on the books in the summer of definitely 2027. So AD has 58 million. Okay. Anthony Davis is getting paid 54 million this year, 58 million the year after that, and 62 million on a player option that he can pick up the summer of 2027 that would take him through the 27-28 season. Yeah, I don't see it happening. So we can nip that in the bud. I don't see it happening. I agree with this. They have to play more inspired basketball out there. And when one of your teammates goes down, that can bring out the best in guys. It can. I've seen it too many times. The Ewing theory. I'll see if I can send out a link to a certain Clippers reporter in Law Murray if he's available or if he's already writing the story on this. Really, really tough news with Bradley Beal being out for the season. I already covered the Ja Morant stuff, so I don't want to go there any further. You can rewind the tape. His rim frequency is down 21% from where it was 3 years ago. If Ja Morant's losing athleticism at 26, that's a red flag to me. If you can get him so cheap, sure, maybe. But again, he's taking up salary in 26 and 27 off seasons. I think they have two guards in house that need to play better in Bogey and CP3 that I never gave up on. And I don't think this Clippers team did. I think they're going to get the first opportunity. See what you have there. And then if you got to make a move, if you still feel like this season is salvageable, you do it. Got Lakers fans in here trolling now. Nasty work. Rent free. Bob Murray did post this. Although Bogdan has had a tough 2025 season, wasn't healthy in Atlanta, got healthy in LA, but had knee ankle injuries by April that delayed his offseason, hamstring in Eurobasket, back injury in preseason. But it does sound like he could get another rotation opportunity. So Bogey's been dealing with all these injuries over the past year. He hasn't looked right. Maybe that accounts for it. He's still young enough. I think he's 33 or younger. Could just look it up. He is, yes, 33. Just turned 33 in August. Yeah, Collins and Ivica Zubac. Ivica Zubac to me is like, this is it. Because when they got Bradley Beal, I thought, well, Zubac may not get more shot attempts than you got last season with the guys on this team, with Kawhi starting off the year. Now I'm thinking, feed the big man, get him involved more. And Zoo has to be better himself and has to do his part. If the Clippers are going to have success still this season, Ivica Zubac, no two ways about it, is going to be a big part of that. Make him a big part of that. Feature him offensively, consistently. I want Zoo at 15 shots a game. If that's getting greedy, so be it. Give me at least 14. Opponents have not figured out Zubac. He is getting doubled sometimes. He was getting doubled and triple teams at times last season. Second half of the season, he was a ton. That's not the issue here. Zubac missed gimmies in the second quarter of that game against Atlanta. Zubac has not been as sharp at all. Been times, glimpses, it's all still there. He's just entering his prime. He just hasn't been in a good rhythm. Well, you can't afford not to have him in a good rhythm. Zoo got up 10 shots last game. Don't tell me he's been getting the ball a ton. I have criticized him. The OKC game, that was on him. He has not been good enough. I wouldn't say not been good at all. He's not been good enough. He still has had multiple 20-point games. Like, I don't want to overreact. He doesn't need to average close to 30. Close to 20, yes. Laker fans definitely getting timeouts. If you're trolling, at least. Let me tell you something. Ivica Zubac led the league from 5 to 9 feet out just 2 years ago and was still one of the best last season from 5 to 9 feet out. His floater, his hook shots, I don't know what you're watching. Zoo has a very well-rounded game that can go from further out, even if it's not 14-foot, 15-foot jumpers. It's Zoo's time. Has to be. Waiting to see if other guests could be coming on here. I was working on some other stuff. I did not expect this. I was working on some Chipotle. No, you stop it. Watch tape. Watch actual tape. I'd put it up, but YouTube would flag me. And man, I said that off top. I guess Warblade wasn't in here, Jonathan. I said 20 and 12. That's exactly what I said. At least around there for the Clippers to be successful. Some of it, like, I looked up his numbers. From 0 to 5 feet, his percentage is down like 2% from where he was last season. Same with 5 to 9 feet. It's not dramatic. It's not dramatic. The Zubac's numbers and what he's missing. I can pull it up for you if you guys don't believe me. We always are way too hard on Ivica Zubac when he misses a gimme because everybody does that with centers. If I was that big, I'd never miss a shot. We exaggerate. In fact, because some of you Zoo casuals in here aren't listening. So Zoo less than 5 feet is at 66%. Let's go to last season. What was he at? He's at, let's see. If the page would cooperate with me. Maybe we'll get back to this in a second. I also want to send out a link. I think Chuck Mockler is going to join for a second. We're scrambling here. So Ivica Zubac last season was at 68%. So he's down 3% there. This year from 68% to 65%, it's not a huge difference. 5 to 9 feet, he's at 53% this season. What was he last season? 55%. So he's fine. He's actually up. Last season, from 10 to 14 feet out, he was at 47%. This season, it may surprise you, from 10 to 14 feet out, he's at 60%. He's only taken 10 shots. But the demise of Ivica Zubac by some of you guys greatly exaggerated. Greatly exaggerated. Those are the numbers. You can remember a couple of plays. I don't give a shit. Those are the actual numbers of what Zubac has been doing. So to act like there's been some dramatic fall off is crazy. Yes, I always complain about his touches. That's not the issue. He still needs to be better and will be. He hasn't gotten off to a great start, but it hasn't been bad or awful. It just needs to be better. Not by a dramatic amount, just better. It will be. Let's not go crazy with the zoo stuff. I have full faith that Zoo is about to be featured more than ever. Speaking of features, we got Steph Mockler joining the show right now. She steps outside work to jump on. Breaking news, unfortunate news with Bradley Beal being out for the year with a fractured hip. Chuck, your initial reaction?
I mean, my initial reaction was just, how
Fuck.
did this? Yeah, that, and then just like, how was this the charge that he took? Like my honestly, my initial reaction was how fragile, and what did the medicals look like before he came to the team? Not because I'm just like, he got his
I'll say
initial
this.
injury
There was a point
from the
in, I
start.
think it was the third quarter of his last game, where he took some type of fall where I saw him grabbing at it and I was like, oh, that didn't look right. I think it happened that last game. Maybe he aggravated the back or he aggravated the hip, but then exacerbated it in that second half, his last half of the season.
Yeah, like it's all like the trickle down effect, right? Once one gets hurt, if you're an athlete, other parts have to compensate. So now we end up with this, but it's just like the crushing weight of what are we going to do now hit me again, right? Hey, we get to see John Collins. That's fun. Cam Christie's going to get more time, but it's looking bleak for end of season predictions right now for the Clips.
Yeah, I think that's fair. My hope is that they can rally as they have in the past with all the injuries this team has dealt with over the last six years. And I think it's safe to say they have overperformed and been at their best when people have counted them out. And they
Yeah.
still have a ton of talent on this team, especially with guys who just haven't played to their talent level yet that are going to need to. I think this opens up a big opportunity for Bogey, obviously. Cam Christie could get more minutes, but just who is the guy that you're looking at now to try to supplement some of what we were expecting from Bradley Beal?
It's a team effort at this point because we also got to supplement what we're missing from Kawhi Leonard for however many games. So it's like we need
Well,
everyone.
hey, I guess I'm hoping Kawhi's going to be back. That's a short-term thing within the next week at
Yeah.
least. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
is
you're
fair.
right. Tonight's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. We said it in the beginning of the year. I was like, I don't like all these out publications thinking we're going to be so great. And now, we do have these expectations that we're not going to be good. So maybe it'll light a fire under some guys. Zoo should get more touches. But no, feels like an uphill battle.
Yeah, we did get the Sacramento Kings pushing Denver last night as I was hoping for. They did have to play their guys. Jokic had to come back into the game in the fourth quarter. Things got a little bit dicey. The Clippers could be inspired and rally around this injury going on right now, even without Beal and Kawhi for tonight at least. James Harden has to be, close to as good as he was last game. Ivica Zubac can play much better. They can feed him
Yeah.
more, and he can be better. I also was just looking at the numbers, and like people are talking about how many chippies he's missing. Like his percentages within 5 feet of the rim and 5 to 9 feet out are like pretty damn close to where they were last season. We may be exaggerating
Yeah.
Ivica Zubac and some of these misses right now.
And
So
it was early
I,
misses too.
I
I think
think,
early in the season, yeah, but now it's like it's basically the same percentage.
well, that second quarter last game, he missed some really easy ones when Atlanta started to come back. And I think people focused on that and said, this is just Zubac this season. It has not been that bad when you actually look at the data. Maybe we're expecting so much, but now I'm expecting a lot. Now I'm expecting them to feed him and get him 14 plus shots every game, period.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be in 20 and 10 range for the Clippers to have a chance most nights, let alone whatever we get from Murray tonight.
I really don't like. There's been a sentiment in here in the chat of like Beal was hurting us anyways as a blessing in disguise. Guys, we never got to see the full version of Bradley
Played
Beal. This
fine.
stuff is nonsense. To judge him based off this, right? It's totally unfair, and it's just nasty work for a guy who's out for the season now to say stuff like that.
Yeah, and I do obviously like. I can't imagine what it feels like to break your hip. I've cracked a kneecap before. I hope the recovery goes well. I hope all that is on point. But like losing a guy, injuries are never good. Why are we in this? Why are some Clippers fans in this realm now that some injuries are good for us? It's clearly not good. Like,
Yeah, Beal was going to have to be a big part of this team for them to peak at the highest level that we were hoping they could get to when we saw these moves this offseason. And they're going to have to find another way, first of all, to get out of the mess of being 3-7. And second of all, having to do it without Bradley Beal. And if you're going to have sustained success to get back to where we thought this Clippers team could be as one of the better teams in the Western Conference, they got to find a way without Bradley Beal. And if Bogey doesn't step up, if Cam Christie's not enough, if CP3 doesn't come around, and they still feel like we're going to make a push this season, they may have to look outside of the roster. It may get to that point.
yeah, the trade talk, as you kind of mentioned, has already kind of beefed up. We saw that weird aggregated clip from Zach Lowe talking about maybe the Clippers trade for AD, but they preface that by being, that probably won't happen type of stuff. But man, I don't even know what our attractive trade pieces are to try and get someone to put us over whatever the top might be for this roster. So, yeah, I mean, El Frank, a lot of people are upset at the front office and the coaching staff, and I guess this is their chance to prove them all wrong.
Yeah, I'm obviously we were already disappointed with the start to this season. This compounds things and maybe takes them into a place at some point where they feel like the season is not salvageable. And then maybe you start talking sell off if they're 10-30 or something like that. That is on the table more so now, which is something no one expected, I think, coming into this year, of course, Chuck.
Yeah, 10-30 never crossed my mind, not even one time in the preseason. But now we are possibly staring that in the face. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of question marks and a lot of rough seas up ahead. But at least it's City Edition night, so that's fun.
I love the orange. That's my positive for the end of the
We'll
episode.
take it. Yeah.
I love the orange. Just anything else as it relates to the injury to Bradley Beal that you want to get off your chest here, Chuck?
Just disappointed. I know that obviously longtime Clippers fans, we've gone through a lot with this 2-1-3 era with injuries and feeling really optimistic and then kind of feeling a little beaten down by what feels like it happens every single year. And I personally, it felt like this one for some reason hit a little harder than some of the other ones just because the start's been rough and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing Cam Christie blossom. John Collins has some room to grow. Zoo can be better. I don't know. I'm trying to have fun with it for the rest of the season.
Trying to have fun with it for the rest of the season. New motto.
Exactly.
All right. All right, Charles. Appreciate you hopping in here during your work break. Godspeed. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Be nice to Adam in the chat every.
There goes Chuck Mockler. Appreciate him. We got another guest coming up here in a second. I got to plug in the computer now, as we unfortunately are dealing with some really difficult news here for this Clippers team with Bradley Beal being out for the season. That came out about an hour ago now from Shams Charania of The Athletic. I know, hard to find positives. People who were doomers before are going to lean into that even more. This is DEFCON 1, critical mass, however you want to put it. This Clippers team is in rough shape record-wise, and now with more injuries, including a season-ending injury to Bradley Beal. I knew when Coach Lou responded to Tomer Azarli about the injury, asking him on Monday, is he expected to be out for a longer period of time? And Coach Lou immediately said yes. That was a bad sign. I did not think it would be the entire year. I thought maybe a month, maybe 2 at worst. Hopefully Kawhi is back for this upcoming road trip. We already know he's not playing tonight. He has missed the last 4 games. This team is 0-4 without Kawhi Leonard. If he can get back for the start of the road trip, with the way James Harden's been playing, with what we know Vita Zubac can do for this team, and I expect better from Bogey. DJ and Dunn are very reliable. Batum, I expect better from Brook Lopez. This team can still figure things out. This team can still find a way. They've done it before. I don't know. I understand being a doomer right now, being down and out. The news is crippling. It's crushing. I also would just look to recent history with this team over the last 5-6 years and how many injuries they've dealt with and how they have succeeded relative to expectations after those injuries and how they've been able to find ways to win games anyways. They've done it many times. So what's one more? Tough though, especially because we just never got to see the real deal Bradley Beal. Appreciate you guys in the chat. I'll be with you at 6:30 for pregame. Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets. We will try to sort through all of this some more, what it means, but this was my initial reaction here. I had to fire up a Clippers talk immediately. Love you all, Clipper Nation. We're in it together as always. I'm Adam Moslin. Talk to you at 6:30 tonight, right back here, but I'll be into it, Dome.